Hi, and greetings on this Wednesday, the middle of the week, the middle of the month, almost exactly falling on the 15th day of the third month. Spring is in your forecast, technically, because Monday is in the forecast period, the first day of spring. And that 56-degree day that we're expecting on Monday is the peak of temperatures for the entire forecast period. A freeze warning still in effect. We're not shaking the cold in winter as of yet. And there, of course, are some more interesting details, a chance of snow, a chance of rain, and other things we'll need to speak of in your Licking Valley RECC forecast in just a few moments. Always something of interest weather-wise in Kentucky. Once again, thanks for being here and being a part of the program. Headlines tonight will include a couple of breaking stories, at least one actually, and that is the indictment returned today by Johnson County grand jury. Charges against a man related to the drowning of a 15-year-old boy nearly a year ago in the Paintsville Lake, a student at Johnson Central High School. That information just coming down this afternoon. I have a great deal of information to share with you on that in just a few moments. We'll also talk about former Paintsville Mayor Bob Porter, as where he is going to be spending his time, at least for now, and possibly for maybe the majority or all of his 4-year sentence, as he officially reported to federal prison earlier this week. Some details to share there. And some other stories I hope to work in tonight. One story I will work in, and I will have it for you in just a few moments as our breaking news is still kind of rendering. And that was a trip to Logan Corporation that I made today. And in fact, I think, well, that's where we'll get to in just a few moments. Only a couple of other reports before we get to our first local headline. The first being that the owner of 201 Speedway, who pled guilty in November of last year to serious tax fraud charges, has now been sentenced officially. He previously admitted that he underreported more than $5 million in income over the course of 3 years, and he was sentenced to 30 months in federal prison yesterday. It was then that 38-year-old Jared C. Breeding of Letcher County appeared before U.S. District Judge Amul Tapar, who sentenced him to 30 months for making false statements on tax returns that he filed with the IRS. Under federal law, Breeding must serve at least, of course, 85% of that time. He's the owner of Southern Steel Recycling in Isom, Kentucky, and he previously admitted that for tax years 2011, 2012, and 2013, he underrepresented his income by more than $5 million. And under federal law, domestic financial institutions such as banks must report any cash transaction at their institution that exceeds $10,000 as a way to assist in detecting crimes such as tax evasion. And what Breeding was doing in underreporting his income, in part, he was structuring transactions to avoid the $10,000 limit and the institution's reporting requirements. That resulted in large large amounts of money that were never included in his bank statements, and then when he would file his tax returns, Breeding only reported the income that was actually included on his statements. And he also, as I said, owns 201 Speedway in Isom. He pled guilty to those charges once again last November. Now set to serve 30 months, or at least 85% of that, in federal prison. Serving at least 85% of his 4-year term is Paintsville Mayor Bob Porter. We'll tell you where he has been assigned and jailed in just a few moments. And our other top story this evening, some information in regards to the indictment against a Johnson County man for unlawful transaction with a minor, we believe, in relation to the death of a Johnson County teenager, a drowning death back last April. I'll get to that in just a few moments. While I do have this time and this report ready, let's go ahead and take a trip to Logan Corporation here in Sayersville today. I just walked in for a little bit of an update, and boy, did I get one. A lot of new employees, 5 of which just this week, and I think most, if not all, from the Magoffin County area. So they've got new employees, they've got new tools for them to work with, and they've got a new truck with a new body getting ready to roll off the assembly line and head to the big show in just days. A truck body that they hope is going to be the first of many for their new line of aluminum beds. Definitely a lot happening at Logan Corporation today as I drop by. For example, here they are getting their foundation ready for their new state-of-the-art press brake. It's going to be a 500-ton, 24-foot-long CNC controlled unit that will sit next to their old-school 1,000-ton, 18-foot-long model they've been using for years. And surely to make everyone happier and more productive, I'm sure too, they're working on installing new LED lightings throughout the facility, installing a few each month to keep the cost down. A total of over 160 light fixtures over the next 2 years that, when done, will cut their electricity bill by up to 85%. Not to mention completely overhauling the working atmosphere and mood drained by that low yellow energy sucking light that's been in the facility for so long. And just this week they had to go shopping. They had to go buy some new tools for their newest employees. That's always a good problem to have.
We've been pretty fortunate to have our schedule board filled with orders. Right now we're a couple months out if you place a new order. And what that's allowed us to do is grow our employee count. We've hired 5 new employees just this week, and that's probably maybe 15 year to date. So January 2016 we had 19 shop employees, now we're over 50. So things are happening exactly the way we wanted them to.
And they're going to need every one of those employees this week, and they're still planning on many more than that in the future, because they're getting ready to get into a new market that they've been looking so forward to since they knew they were making the move from Martin County to Magoffin. And that is the aluminum bed market, with their first unit in production right now and ready to roll off the assembly line into one of the biggest truck shows in the country next week.
This truck is one of 2 chassis that we're going to be taking down to the Mid-America Truck Show in Louisville. And this truck behind me is the one that's going to be getting our first aluminum body. It's going to be a polished aluminum body going to the DC area, and it's going to be something.
While it may be a little hard to tell in this lighting, which is a problem they, as you just heard, are correcting as we speak, this is a gorgeous orange and chrome Peterbilt. It's already sold. The dealer already calling, hoping to see it on his lot in another part of the nation and as soon as possible after it makes a stop at the show in Louisville. And that's after it has a completely polished aluminum and orange bed built by Logan attached. One in a pretty much raw state as you see here, but one that I already have a good idea as to how it's going to look finished, and one that I'll be very pleased to show you next week. But most importantly, one truck bed that they are planning on making a big splash with all of its advancements and improvements over others on the market when they hit the big show next week.
Half the market is steel, half is aluminum, and not being able to do aluminum over the last 2 years has kept us out of certain customers, because certain customers, all they use is aluminum. It's going to give us the ability to reach out to people that normally wouldn't have been able to get a Logan body. Now we can offer aluminum and hopefully grow our business even further.
And this bed, just like pretty much everything else that they've had to do and had to overcome since they made the big move to Magoffin County, well, they're doing so under a time crunch. There's going to be some overtime hours. There's going to be some long nights over the next several days in an effort to make this become a very small part, as big of a deal as it is, but still a very small part in the big picture of an even bigger future for Logan and their employees.
We started the aluminum body, our first aluminum body, on Monday, and we have to have it sitting in Louisville, shined up and ready for the show this coming Wednesday. So we had 10 days to do it in, pretty much. And the pressure's there.
That was what I was
Yeah, the pressure's there, but we've got enough time to do it, and the aluminum was a little bit late coming in, our actual material to build it with. That's caused us to be a little bit under the gun, but we have always performed well that way. We wouldn't. Most of our other projects get done this way, but we're going to be successful, and it's going to be something.
And we have no doubt that it will be. Our next update from Logan, next week, we'll see that big orange and aluminum bed roll out on its way to Louisville and on to DC. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions,
or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband.
Information still coming in. I'll have an official copy of the entire indictment and more details on tomorrow's program, as well as some other information out of the Johnson County area for some other reports to be on the program as well. For tonight, I can confirm, however, that a Johnson County man has been indicted. Right now, we understand on a charge of unlawful transaction with a minor. It results to drugs. We believe that he allegedly gave a teenager, that being 15-year-old Luke Cottle, who drowned in the Paintsville Lake back last April.
For now, we can confirm that Michael Pennington of Johnson County, and as of the 6 o'clock hour, I still could not find him in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center jail records, so unsure of his arrest, if it's been made since the indictment was just handed down this afternoon or not. I can tell you that his bail was set at $20,000 for what we believe right now is at least one charge of unlawful transaction with a minor, after the Kentucky State Police, per their investigation, believe that Pennington gave or convinced or coerced Luke Cottle, 15 years of age, a freshman at Johnson Central, into taking drugs, and that they may be responsible or were responsible for, to some degree, his death. Search crews recovered 15-year-old's body in the Paintsville Lake at the bottom of a cliff after he drowned on April the 8th, the last day, the Friday morning of the last day of spring break last year. He was a freshman at Central, a very much beloved member of the football team, a quarterback, and on that particular night, he was a group of 4 or 5 friends or individuals that he had left home to join, and then some point gathering here at this location on the banks or near the edge of the Paintsville Lake, he slipped in, and reports were from those who reported the drowning at around 4 o'clock that morning that they were unable to pull him from the icy waters. It happened right here off of Route 689 in the Spice Lick branch area of Flat Gap on that April 8th morning. His family alleges that Michael Pennington picked up Luke and then gave him and others drugs, and that this indictment that was handed down earlier today confirms suspicions that they've had since shortly after Luke's death. The Kentucky State Police presented their case before the grand jury, and that indictment was returned today, with more to follow on tomorrow's program.
More headlines in just a few moments. Before I go on to the rest of tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau Community Calendar, this just in from Marlene Howard down at the Senior Citizens Center. She says, please announce that tomorrow is Commodity Food Box Day. That is 12:30 till 2:30 tomorrow, and those who haven't brought in proof of income for 2017 need to recertify. And as always, they can use a little help. Volunteers, greatly appreciated and needed. If you don't want to help in the gym with the commodities, they can help with cleaning the kitchen up after lunch. It all goes to help the same cause. They're having soup, beans, and sauerkraut for lunch tomorrow, by the way. Sounds pretty good to me. Here's the rest of calendar announcements, which I believe start off with this birthday wish.
Yes, indeedy, 74th birthday wish is going out to Howard Bacon from a whole lot of family and a whole lot of friends. That's a happy 74th B-Day today to Howard Bacon. Happy birthday to you. And you better hurry if you want to register to take part in the next Hunter Education course and get that orange card. Classes start tomorrow evening, then Friday evening, and then wrap up Saturday. Pre-registration is required. Call Wendell Hoskins at 349-2018 or John or Shauna Sharp at 349-7130. That's the first class tomorrow evening at the McGoffin County Extension Service. So register early tomorrow. If you're watching the early show, maybe tomorrow evening. Maybe tonight, I mean. If you're watching the late show, call them in the morning. Connecting with Kids. Find out about how your child might be one of millions of children up to the age of 19 who are eligible for free or low-cost health insurance through Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program. They're Connecting Kids. Find out more by calling Whitney Bailey at 496-5442. And I think, indeed, it will. That will do it for calendar announcements for this evening, I believe. More to come tomorrow. whenever you've got one of those that you want to be on the program, this is how you get them in. P.O. Box 1443 in Sagersville. Email to yournewstoday@yahoo.com. I'm on Facebook, Ritter Mortimer. Phone's 3699. The fax is 3221. Don't forget, you can always catch our show on our website at yournewstoday.com and on our YouTube channel at Your News Today by Ritt Mortimer. In funeral services for this Wednesday, 61-year-old Richard Morgan Hall of Sagersville passed away Tuesday, survived by his wife Veronica Rudd Hall, son Tyler Christian, daughter Victoria Elise Hall, and brother Butch here locally. Visitation starts at 5 tomorrow, and services will begin Friday morning at 11 from the Magoffin County Funeral Home. Once again, in honor of 61-year-old Richard Morgan Hall. And we're announcing the passing of Rodney Lynn Doherty, 53, of Magoffin County, survived by his daughter, Angel, his sister, Maxie Ann Lamaster, and his companion, Carol Millette. Also 3 brothers and 2 sisters locally. Once again, 53-year-old Rodney Lynn Doherty. And we received notification today of the passing of 69-year-old Gary Jenkins of May Branch Road here in Sagersville, Magoffin County. The husband of Stella Fletcher Jenkins, who survives. Arrangements are being made by the family at this hour. They'll be announced soon by the Magoffin County Funeral Home.
While Paintsville businessman Ulyss Crace awaits formal sentencing next month, and after that we'll see where he will spend the majority, if not all, of his sentence. Former Paintsville Mayor Bob Porter is now incarcerated in the same facility that Crace spent some time in during his trial and court case. Former Paintsville Mayor Bob Porter, at the age of 70, was incarcerated in the Federal Medical Center in Lexington after surrendering himself to authorities on Monday of this week.
70-year-old Bob Porter has been assigned to the Federal Medical Center, the prison in Lexington, Kentucky, at Administrative Security Federal Medical Center with an adjacent minimum security satellite camp currently housing 1,613 inmates, 301 of those at the camp. It holds inmates of all security classifications, male, female, federal inmates who need medical or mental health care on some form or fashion or in some level. This after Porter was sentenced to 4 years in prison after being found guilty of theft of federal funds, aiding and abetting, and bribery. And, of course, after he is released, he'll still have to serve 2 years of federal supervised release supervision, and he has to pay a $4,000 fine as well. This is the same, of course, facility, as I said, that Ulyss Crace served some time in during his court proceeding. While out right now, he is set to be formally sentenced on April the 10th per the same case after pleading guilty to paying a public official, that being Porter. Now to cap this evening's programming off with your weather forecast, as we most often do, as we've been doing quite often here for at least the past few days on a winter note. Spring's around the corner, but winter's made a hopefully what we'll see one final run at it. Nevertheless, a freeze warning in effect until noon tomorrow. Then a freeze warning in effect from 9 o'clock tomorrow night, so just a little gap in the middle, as we'll see 42 for daytime highs tomorrow. And then a freeze warning in effect from 9 o'clock tomorrow night till 9 o'clock Friday morning, as we'll see 15 degrees for nighttime lows tonight under clearing skies and a still pesky northwest wind. Man, that wind was not forgiving today, with temperatures hitting right around 32, 33 degrees. It felt much colder than that. Wind chill degrees indices actually down into the mid-20s, and that's why it felt that way. And still a wind out of the northwest at 5 to 17 tonight. But tomorrow we'll see 10 degrees better, I think, on daytime highs. We'll see a little more sunshine during the day, but increasing clouds tomorrow night for your Thursday. Not making any precipitation, but we'll see a low of around 23 degrees, and that will, of course, indicate a freeze warning, as you see in the bottom of your screen. And then on Friday, a chance of some snow showers early in the morning, and then rain thereafter as we get into the low 50s, I think. Winds becoming southwest, say 5 to 8 in the afternoon. Chance of precipitation, 60 early Friday and 80 or likely with rain in the forecast for Friday night, as we'll see temperatures a solid 10 degrees or so above the freezing mark. Saturday, 53, partly sunny, partly cloudy, pretty nice in all actuality. 40% chance of some showers I could have put in there, but I think that precipitation should be out of here by around 8 o'clock or so Saturday morning. So otherwise, just 53, starting to see a little sun, partly cloudy skies that night for the latter half of your weekend. Still mostly sunny, a bit cooler, falling back to the upper 40s on Sunday with 48 and 31 for your daytime highs and lows. And starting off next week, we'll do so on a sunny note to begin with, and 58 degrees. That's the peak of your forecast temperature-wise, but we've got a 40 and then 50% chance of showers later on Monday evening, and then showers likely the following day on your Tuesday.
Well, that's going to do it for tonight. I'm already working on programming for tomorrow, and much of which you'll only see if you see us then. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.